after these two lines of code here, I'm going to actually retrieve data from the user. So let's see how we can do that. First, let's prompt the user in order to enter a value. So now I can actually just type in here console, and here I can say write line console dot write line, and here I just put a pair of parentheses, and inside the parentheses I can put two quotes here, and inside the quotes I can say enter your excuse me, I have a so enter your first name, enter your first name, colon. So now here I am actually prompting the user to enter their first name. So I just need to put a semicolon at the end of my statement, and now I can actually initialize my first name variable. So let me actually create some new space here, and here I can refer to the name of my variable in order to initialize it. So I can say first name assignment operator. So how we can actually retrieve data from the user? In order to do that, again, I am going to refer to the name of the console class, and here I can say read line. So by using this method, we are going to actually read the data that the user has entered. Look at the documentation here. It says reads the next line of characters from the standard input stream. So if you want to, you can actually click on this read line here, and then press on F1 key on your keyboard in order to be guided to the documentation of this method. So let me show you my documentation here. So this is the documentation, console.readLine method, and here it says reads the next line of characters from the standard input stream. So by using this readLine method, we can actually read the values that the user has entered in the console. So let's actually scroll down here, and you can see these exceptions, and here look at this piece of values here, this text here. It says return value type system.string. This means that this method is going to return a value, and the type of that returned value is going to be string. But for now, you don't have to worry about returned values of methods. I'll talk more about them later. But here I just wanted to actually show you this method and some other descriptions of this method. So don't worry about this for now. Let's actually go back to Visual Studio. So we use the readLine method in order to read the text from the user. So the readLine method is actually a method, right? So for methods, at the end of the method name, when we actually call the methods, at the end of the method name, we put a pair of parentheses, and at the end we put semicolon. So this is very important. When you call a method, we must actually put a pair of parentheses here. So now I actually called readLine on the console, and in this way we can actually get the value, because the readLine return type is actually string. We can actually assign the return type to this first name here, because this first name data type is actually string. So we can read that value and assign it to this first name. So in this way, we are initializing this first name variable. So now let's actually prompt the user to enter their last name. So here I can actually just type in here console dot write line, and inside the parentheses I can put up two double quotes, and here I can say enter your last name, colon, and at the end of our statement we must put a semicolon. So now I'm going to initialize the last name variable here. So here I'm going to say last name assignment operator, and here again I am going to read the line. I am going to actually retrieve the data from the user. So here I'm going to say console dot read line semicolon. So again, as you can see, it's showing us an error, and it's because I am actually calling a method, and because I am calling a method here, I must put a pair of parentheses here. So here again, we are initializing our last name variable, which is of type string. So again, because the returned value, the return type of this readLine method is actually string, we can assign this value, the returned value of this method, to this last name here. I'll talk more about that later, don't worry. And now I am going to actually say, okay, I'm going to show that values that the user has actually entered to the user again.